and started.
Right.
Can always do some like regular foreign ambiance.
Yeah, but that's too easy. Uh,
You could do some nighttime forest ambiance.
maybe. But again, way too easy. Oh, there we go. Ooh, this is perfect. Alright, I think that's good enough. Alright, so when we last took a group of adventurers and mercenaries and possibly heroes, question mark, you just managed to, after waking up in the morning, you decide to investigate the small campsite settlement to the south of your, to the south of where you were. Upon searching around, you found the remnants of what should or would have been some sort of, uh, campsite that had been found in, ruins. The only thing left were an ungodly amount of horn wax and a few days worth of food. But in addition to that, after some investigation, you also found some notes, a journal regarding what that was probably written up by one of the people who lived here, in mentioning several things are quite foreign to you, and as well as finding what looked to be some sort of holy symbol after traveling for a while. The Due to Vera's strained relationship with their entity that she is pulling direct power from, the entity, the god or deity or entity or whatever that the holy symbol was devoted to, reached out to her with an offer. However, she respectfully declined, and he then left us an alternative offer if she ever feels uncomfortable, or if she does with drawing power from her usual patron, that he would then to feel free to draw from his reserves without and without completely freely, as long as you stay a good person. Essentially, that's that whole thing. And eventually, and as you the next, yes,
Just to clarify, she didn't outright say no. She said she didn't want him to think about it.
my apologies. Yeah,
She said she didn't want to remove the opportunity to learn more about his creature.
just yeah. Again, my apologies.
Either the way to so that he didn't understand his creature while still doing that, he would probably take it.
That being said, after taking your rest, you found your campsite audibly translocated to in front near the location of the this rainbow temple, where you encountered the Androgyny, a serpent of an entity originally in fiction, known as the Rainbow Serpent, a sort of child of theirs. As a result, however, they managed of them producing several offerings that would appease it, and leaving Benor out to essentially keep watch with, at the very least, the portable snail home of yours. You managed to make your way through relatively unmolested, though not without some lingering questions as to, for some of you, in regards to the case of Hajime, what in the pit her patron entity did that would cause a serpent of a god of a serpent of a god of
fertility.
life and such to just react so, not violently, but
It looked like she was in. It looked like she was in pain.
Yeah.
that being said, it could have gone worse. They did, in as an apology to the for the sudden, what's the term?
Reaction.
Yeah, for the sudden reaction, and rather unfair considering you made your case. She instead gave an offering in the form of instead they gave you a boon for anyone in your lineage, a boon of health, which at the moment Hajime will not benefit from, but the player will certainly benefit from if they decide to continue from her lineage. That being said, one of the requests, or two of the requests were answered. The other two were answered as well as they could be.
Yeah. So.
One, the location of this key artifact being under further down. However, the androgyny does not know what lies beyond, as there appeared to have been some sort of warding preventing them from continuing on.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, what was Vera's request? All right, that's fair. I forgot. It's been a week, and I've been staring at several things.
So it's refreshing yourself than rather refreshing us.
Myself as well as the rest of you guys.
Well, I was fully aware of like everything that's happened. I'm like, why?
Yeah, I'm just also for the recording and all that.
Well. Anyways, so yeah, if I remember correctly, we're about to head in and start traveling. Go deep.
Yes, that is correct. And with that, the adventure continues. As I believe you stopped beforehand to go pick up Benor to explain the situation, and then you go on.
Yeah, essentially catch them up and ask if they informing them that we're about to go deeper, and then even the Serp's not aware of how, like, of what lies beyond. If they would join us.
Alright.
What?
She continues. She followed you, in which case, we'll make this quick. As her explanation that she gives to the Rainbow Serpent is, let's see here. Let me just pull up the notes here for her. As I have her backstory right up on the little corner here, and if it'll just load for me, that would be swell. Alright, there we go. She explains her reasoning for committing the act of patricide was that she was, in order to protect her remaining was to protect her family from what he had done. A betrayal against her kind, aligning himself with mind flayers, Illithids. People have enslaved her people for centuries, and as a result, she could not, no one in her clan, nor could anyone in her society could ever forgive him for such a transgression against the people. Against our people, but yeah. Let's see her persuasion check. She actually has a proficiency in it.
Guidance.
Okay, let's see here. Why is it GM roll? But it's a max result anyways. I'm not gonna use my 1 precision reroll. Let's see here. Let's see DC. Alright. serpent sort of coils around her. Not, actually squeezing down on her, but, sort of walling her off from some of you. As their head, as you see their mouth slightly twitch a little bit, they lean down. You'll hear nothing for at least a minute before the form will pull itself back, leaving Nor unharmed, appears to be in a sort of confused state. And let's see here. They essentially explain to you that she is allowed to go forward, as their reasoning was essentially good enough for now. So she good enough. So she'll be now traveling with you guys for the rest of this dungeon.
Cool.
Let's see here. And oh dear. Roll 20. Why are you doing these things? It's giving me a red bar, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I can work with this. So you guys continue on forwards. Down the path that they gesture towards. It's not. Well, they mentioned that they were not able to due to some warnings. And as far as you can tell, there doesn't appear to be any warnings at all. It appears to be just fine for the most part. A little bit crammed, but nothing out of the ordinary. Like said, the trip does not continue downwards into the the assumed location where that entrance would be. You find yourselves standing before a gate, completely made out of stone. No signs of any plant life anywhere. Aside from the torches hanging from the sides of the wall, and it would normally be completely dark. However, again, with the information torches, you're able to discern not just the coloration of this temple, but also the just overarching design. The archway leading deeper into this temple appears to resemble that of some sort of. At first you think some sort of turtle, but no, you realize, oh wait, it's a bit of a consistent theme here. A serpent's head with what looks like a plume of feathers strummed or grown out of the sides of its head. Also, hello, Armor.
Hey, sorry, you just woke up, believe it or not.
It's fine. So, the dungeon, I'll just, I'm not going to repeat it verbatim, but essentially, Harvey made their way to the dungeon and then presented their offerings. The androgyny, ye managed accepted it. One of the requests was denied due to patron mystery, but she got what's the proper term? I don't remember what the terminology would be, but essentially a reward, an alternative reward for this. We'll just say, Nora requested that any information she has that the androgyny has regarding the exact location of this key artifact, describing it and all that, to which they responded further down. However, because of some odd wordings, they're unable to actually go any deeper, and so they cannot provide any other information other than that's where it is.
Yeah.
And they requested that Benor be given at least some permission to not be killed on sight by the androgyny due to the crime she committed of patricide, and be given the opportunity to explain herself. Benor was given the opportunity, she explained that thanks to guidance given by the Master Duke's character Hajime, but barely managed to succeed.
And by this time, Warchick was just standing there, while his face is not seen, in his mind, Snake!
Basically, it's fine. You're the Indiana Jones character of the group.
Oh, I guess.
No,
And Paul, not minus the.
I am literally Indiana Jones at this moment.
That being said, go down the arch. As you make your way down archway, you may find yourself in an archway illuminated by torches. The archway having a very snake-like motif to the. However, it also appears to have not any sort of warrior iconography. I'll say for anyone who would like to, can make a Arcana check regarding what sort of humanoid forms are there.
Arcana? Okay.
Yes.
15.
I rolled a 15 on the die. Can you check my modifier, Auntie?
Let me just pull it up here. Let's see here. Your modifier is a 0, so 15. So. Alright.
Oh yeah, like here's the thing. You gotta love having physical die when Roll20 doesn't load up right away.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a nice luxury at times.
By the way, you're all coming with me so I can fix my shower. Because, for some reason, it started not doing what it's supposed to and drain.
That's fun.
That's very.
Alright, so.
Alright. I'll trust you with the result, of course.
So, what do we know?
So I'm using vinegar.
Yeah, 25. So all of you are able to discern. At first, think, oh, these appear to be like some sort of near human beast, or sort of nearly human esque beast folk. Judging by the fact that they have very goat-like. They have like ram-like horns. Not ram-like horns. They have like sort of actual horns and goat-like legs, and like on some depictions, a sort of little tuft of hair of fur, like for a tail. Until you actually notice some how do I put this? Some noticeable differences at some points. You notice as you look closer, some of them have fangs, very sharp fangs for people who would be of beast-like goat descent. Goat-esque descent.
Yeah.
And you notice vengeance hidden a little bit off in certain sections, but a little hidden off compared to everything else. Spade-like tails, long spade-like tails. As you realize, they appear to be more bestial than tieflings, far more bestial. They appear to be all sort of male and female, appear to be bearing baskets of like food, fruits, grain, sort of carrying them towards upwards towards this icon of a serpent.
Does anyone want me to record this?
Well, it could just be the history of what this cave is. It's just not. We don't know if they sell demons or devils or whatever. Yeah, in there.
Yeah, but I'm sure that everyone up above would like to see this as. I would. This is. All right.
Record.
He
Yeah, we
taps the
are.
side of his head, and his eyes glow red. And he just starts looking around.
I
Uh,
I
The perks of being
wouldn't.
a wolf forged.
The only thing I would tell is about stuff. Uh, I fear she
Duke, you were saying?
uh, basically that she want to reveal that this is the androgynous temple, I guess. That she even that she doesn't. Does
I think, Mask, are you there?
yeah, it just it. I think he is there. It just keeps fucking Discord. It's just not letting him get complete full sentences.
are you not here?
No, try switching to push to talk instead of voice activation.
Yeah, because I think the problem is it cuts off. It starts a bit early, or not early, late. Oh, there. Okay.
Okay.
Hello, Mask?
Hello.
Are you there, Mask?
Ask if you're speaking. We cannot hear you now.
Hello.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, we can hear you.
Hello.
Okay. Am I better now?
Perfect.
For
Thank
now,
you.
yeah.
Okay. The Hajime feels that tell people about the androgen, her temple.
Well, yeah. So,
I don't know what to tell you guys.
Yeah, if you're having funky internet, there's nothing we really can do.
I'm
Or
I'm not
Wi-Fi,
even
of course.
on.
Push to talk?
Or connect. Oh, like if you're just straight up using like what is it?
I'm using my cellular.
Yeah, so it might just be, like it might be in like a bad connection spot or just whatever. And there's
Are you using push to talk?
It's not.
I don't think that helps.
yeah,
It
that's
Master,
not the
doesn't.
problem. The problem is it's like his.
Mask, you're saying?
I could try it, but I don't really see how that'll help.
Yeah, that's. I don't think that's the issue of like they're not using push to talk. It's the reason why it's causing bad connection. I think it's just wherever you're standing, it's just causing like a bad connection.
It might not be because of a bad connection. It might be because Discord's having trouble deciding when to mute him, so it's inadvertently muting him while he's talking.
No,
Yeah.
that's
Well, that does happen. It happened to me several times. That's why I prefer push to talk.
well, it's not like
But,
inadvertently muting him. It's like I can hear him speaking, like, and it's just cutting him off. So it's bad connection. If it was straight up it would. If it straight up like freaking completely muted him, we would know.
it's also fair, but nevertheless, so that's
It's worth a try.
fair.
Anyways,
But actually, can you type out your request, or what? Sorry, Hajime's request in Roll20. Oh, Discord is fine.
yeah.
All this.
Oh, by the way, Auntie.
Yes.
Friday is going to be the last. Not Friday. Sunday is going to be the last pirate game. Do you think you'll be able to make it?
It depends solely on the time. I might be able to make it. I just need to.
I'm going to be doing it around like 8:30 my time,
Um.
and I'd like to remind you it's about 517.
517. I would be getting ready to deal with that. I would be getting ready to deal with that point. So unfortunately, not be able to do that. Yeah, and I may ask you to basically don't tell the people on the surface that this is the Snake's Cave Temple. That you're in this Snake Cave Temple. Sorry.
Says, you just told them. And he stops it, presses another button on the side of his head, and then starts it over again.
All right.
And he starts explaining this seems to be some form of bestial, like this seems to be some temple to some very bestial tiefling. The reason is unknown, but lovely craftsmanship.
Yeah. Looks like we lost. Oh, okay.
Alright. So.
Oh, hello, Mass. Your request was heard, and the recording was made in the game, not IRL.
Yeah. But, with that all aside of theorizing, we should probably start going in and exploring and try to find where that artifact is.
So, who goes through the archway first?
Nora,
Yo.
I offered.
Wait. No,
Well, why don't we go? Let's go at the same time.
floor, so that way at least two people can, at most two people can go through. So yeah.
Is there going to be...
The archway is wide enough that way at least two of you guys can go in at a time.
I'm going to expend this spell slot for Detect Magic.
Right. You detect abjuration. Surrounding the gate, and actually the gate, it's something in front of the gate, in the archway itself is something abjuration-based spells, or spell water. Alright.
There's something unusual about this gate. There's abjuration in front of it. It's not emanating from it, but it might be a portal.
Warship takes out one of his coins and tosses it through the gateway.
As you do so, and Vera pings her divine sense, coin goes off, goes through, and lands on the other side. Nothing out of the ordinary, it seems like. And Vera, as you ping off of your
picks it up.
As your divine channel rings off, you do not detect any aside from like some residual. It seems like the serpent has been here a few times. You don't detect anything of the other end. In fact, it seems very clean.
Hey, if I could theorize as we're going through, it might be a good and evil spell enchanted around the entrance, because the spell of good and evil is at least an aberration, so it couldn't be said that it could be just preventing something from entering or preventing something from leaving.
Detect good and evil is given. Sorry.
Yeah, but the spell good and evil is aberration.
Well,
I'll volunteer to go first because if there's something dangerous and we end up cut off from each other, then it's best to have the rock the most possible.
Yeah, the problem is me and Vortex are already heading through.
most people went through, but it appears that nothing happens.
Yeah, so Norlai was following closely after too.
Vera goes, and then Vera goes in third.
Give her the last.
Venora will sort of look at you, Hajime. Nods in agreement, yeah, it's good, stay behind, as she goes through next?
I guess I'll go last.
As each of you go through, the only people who feel anything aside from like a light breeze coming from outside, the only people who feel anything would be Hajime. Actually, all of you except for Woztek. You feel like a slight shiver crawl down your spine as you go through.
Can
Very
I
slight,
roll-
noticeable.
Can I roll something like Arcana or Religion?
Any of you who would like to can make an insight check as to what's going on.
Let's see.
Oh,
Let's go. One high roll I got, and hey, that's a 17. That ain't too bad.
22 ain't bad.
Yeah.
You go through, it's a normal stone archway. There's nothing really much to explain.
Wow.
But, does Bear want to roll insight as to that chill?
Oh, even with like the 22 doesn't tell you nothing. It's like
With a
really high
24
DC.
with a 17 and a 21. You always have that, like, almost, at least in the case of you, Norla, a very comforting sort of presence, like, of your patron entity, Jack Frost, at the very least, being able to see you as you're casting your spells. As you walk through, it's gone. That sight, that sort of comfort that they are watching you, disappears. Norway, or Hajime, that sort of comfort that you have of the Blackthorn groves seeing you, gone.
Yeah, that might confirm what I've just theorized. It is a gate of the spell of good and evil or something, because it just like it cut off connection.
You do feel that you're able to still cast your spells. It's just that while you're here, if you're drawing power from an otherworldly entity like a god or being, you're not gonna be able to see what's going on. They probably won't be able to make contact with you.
Is that really a bad thing?
Does that bring up like alright, I should bring up the valid question of would like clerical abilities still apply, because some of that stuff is specifically tied to the deity in question.
You get a feeling that it will, but how to put this? It's kind of like having beer goggles on. They're if you're specifically invoking the power, you're barely going to be able to see through it.
Alright, so alright. Fair enough. Well, keep that in mind. It's like, alright, so the gate is obscuring vision and, like, very badly, and has completely blinded those who is keeping a careful eye on us. Like, if we invoke them, bring them back, they'd be obscured.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
Good to know.
Hajime's very uncomfortable about this. She's kind of relied on. There's always. She's never truly alone. She's got her patron watching her, so this is like affecting her badly.
Not shaking like a. She's not shaking like an addict, but she's a bit more nervous right now.
Yeah, she's
kind of like when Wolftek is staring at the big ass fucking snake.
For the first time in a while, she feels truly alone.
Norla will place a hand on your back and be like, hey, you'll be alright. We'll do fine. You can still cast spells. You can still do your things. You good?
Lord Kick is always here.
Minola just said, huh? Oh yeah, me too. And she just sort of looks around.
Yeah. So
Like a rainbow away, but yeah.
Alright, so start pushing further. See
Good adventure!
See how bad this gets.
Alright, each of you make your way forward. And one by one, you start to notice. Oh, sorry, Master was saying.
I was gonna ask, like, how dark is it? Like, dark enough that we need a light, or
There's actually some. it's kind of odd. There's actually lit torches on the side, on the walls. That are
Actually, I'm
only
going to bring up a good question. How do you view necrotic magic? Like, is it just evil? Is it
Necrotic
neutral?
magic is used
evil
for
necromancy.
Anti?
Sorry. Yes.
Are you anti?
Sorry.
Give me a moment. Necromancy. It's only as evil as you make it. If somebody uses it to create an army of the undead, sure they're evil, but as long as you have them under your control, you're fine.
What if your power core is literally a necrotic core?
You're not a lit. Well, does it suck the souls out of creatures?
No.
And there's
I thought he knows. He doesn't know much about this core. No one has been able to tell him much about it.
Yeah.
I'll say it's fine. It's not considered anything evil
Yeah,
by all means.
Calling you evil would be calling Revivify evil, man.
Yeah.
He's neutral.
Yeah.
He's just
No.
pure fucking neutral.
Magic itself is
It's the same applied thing. It's like
sideline.
It,
As you make your way forward, you begin to notice some decorations of sorts, engravings along the wall, and as well as looks like some relatively happy scenes. Looks like a successful hunt, a healthy crop, the birth of a new child, in a sort of script. May be familiar to some of you. That is, if you can speak, read, or write Infernal, or if you can read Infernal, better. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
and what language?
Infernal.
Infernal.
So not
I have both. I have both infernal and abyssal.
Understood. Flutter, you were saying? It is still there, yes.
Okay.
It's weak. But, yes. So you're able to those of you who understand Infernal can actually it's how to put this. Have any of you read really old English?
Oh, so
Yes.
you are like ancient tasks, essentially like.
It's
Yield.
it's
So this
it's
is
very
classic Infernal, not current Infernal, essentially.
caveman-esque Infernal, I'll say.
Fair. Fair.
You're able to decipher it. The rough translations are basically kind of what you expect from underneath each of the depictions. It says Trine succeeded in a successful hunt against the local Apapoir.
Yeah. So essentially, what we're graphing from the image is what it's explaining in detail that we're able to glimpse. Essentially, it's like.
So but you're also getting names of some of these people. Their actual full-on names. It also mentioned, and you notice like in some of the background, it looks like mages. I see some of them like control almost like pottery. They're people like controlling active open fire to do like little not presentations, but little performances. And underneath them, of course, a wonderful story of the Great Hunt, played by a shaman, such and such and such. It's quite
So it seems like not only are they telling the stories, but they're making sure that names are mentioned of the people. Okay, that's kind of interesting.
What sort of names are being revealed?
Is it?
Well,
Yeah. Is it generally anyone, or is it like? Does it seem like it's like reoccurrence of like names of importance?
There look like reoccurrences, and as you go along, let's see here. It actually gets a bit more. The story is getting a little bit more well, not like unrealistic, but they get very intense. Like this, the creation of a new spell, as you see a someone with a staff pointed towards what looks like a horde of those apes, not apes, but sort of horde of those like terrible, gigantic serpents. Not really the androgyny, but it's
Yeah.
noticeably see like an explosion of flame erupt in the between these. There's like heavy depictions of gore and viscera as it's being blown up.
Yeah.
The few who say, actually, yeah, Vera would recognize the spell as a fireball that was cast.
Huh.
How small is the room?
And it continues on, and eventually you see as it's even more insane things. People being, well, not insane, but to point to these people, very amazing things. People being able to take the form of some of the beasts of this land. Some people grow up being able to come back from the dead when left alone when their bodies have been left abandoned. Eventually reaches to the last, most grandiose act. As you see, it's almost engraved. It appears to be engraved in gold, emblazoned on one of the walls. It certainly catches your eyes. It's, for the lack of a better word, beautiful. You see, it looks like a tiefling priest or priestess of sorts, standing with a crook and a shield, arms outstretched, as you see floating above a very familiar serpent creature that you had just met before. Sort of floating above looks to be a table with a young child as according to the text it mentions the first miracle. It doesn't mention what the miracle was, but to these people, whatever, considering they were amazed by fireball or things like that, you could probably assume a few things. Maybe those are somebody brought the child back from the dead, or maybe something else happened, or maybe it was just
Maybe she gave birth to the child.
Well, if it was probably be serpent, right?
it's there, but yeah. Flutter, you're saying?
So are these runes showing the dawn of magic?
Dawn of
Like confirming?
not Dawn of
D- um.
oh sorry, Flutter.
Yeah.
You're saying?
So these, so you said these were like carved on the walls or the paintings?
Carvings, like in the stone.
Yeah, it's an illustration of sorts.
So, as far as so from what I'm understanding, these carvings are showing like the dawn of magic, or are they just
Well,
Appears to be actually from just by looking at it, yeah. It does also include other things like heroes toppling down beasts and stuff. I guess the closest thing that one could have as a description of this would be like, if anything, a library of
yeah,
important events.
If
yeah,
notable events.
yeah. So it's yeah. So instead of writing it down in books, it's decided to illustrate on top on the walls. So that's interesting with how they did that. That's what I was saying. But
Uh-huh. Yes, Lord?
yeah, the investigation confirms that men kind of walk. Is there any indication of that, or like in those spaceships?
None in here. Actually, I would say make an investigation check. And as you're doing that, Alex, what were you saying?
uh, just to get clarification for myself, the the miracle, the image of what the serpent is standing over, is it another serpent or is it just a child? Because this will lead to my next jump
A
of.
serpent floating over, it looks like a priest or priestess that is in front of a table where you see like a very young tiefling. So actually, in your case, you
Alright.
could actually make a religion check to guess what this might be.
Well, my solid guess was about to be like, this might be the birth of the first tiefling, so. Religion, you said?
Yes.
Alright, let's see if Nor and I can confirm this. That's 17.
You didn't. You're not a religious person by any means. You don't study and all that. You study to get your powers and all that, but.
I was just about to say he can have guidance.
Yeah. I was just gonna say you do succeed, but as you sort of look at this, it's fine. As you sort of look at this, you feel like a little itch in the back of your head. As you're not seeing this presently, but it appears to be a form of casting two spells at once in a single instance. This is very interesting.
Yeah.
So you can only cast one spell at a time, maybe a low-level spell that's quick to cast, but two full-blown spells, in this case, from what you're guessing, some sort of spell that is able to summon a celestial, and a spell to bring back a person back to life.
So.
I've never really heard of that sort of thing being done before.
Alright, so the miracle was being able to cast two very powerful spells at once. That's okay. Seems like it. You know. Yeah. So it's very interesting. So what did Shy find with her 15? I'm
Flutter.
assuming with her normal investigation.
First off, what was your question?
Well, I was going to remark that that looks similar to something that I may have seen, like, in some very, very advanced sections of the Armageddon magic section of the book.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, as you sort of look at it as you're investigating, it does kind of ring a little bell there.
Hajime remarks, isn't this normally what sorcerers can do?
Well, the difference with sorcerers, if I remember correctly, when they can quickly cast spells, but only one powerful spell at a time. But as far as I can tell, they can only do a spell and a cantrip.
Or split a spell's effects into
Yeah,
two.
or twin cast, as it would. This is something entirely different, but not completely.
Is there any indication to what might have caused this or why we can't do this now?
As far as you can tell, there's nothing there.
Yeah, so
It
it
there's
is just
something
stating
like-
the miracle.
This is literally just referred to as the miracle. You're not able to discern anything beyond that.
If I can make this assumption, maybe we'll find out more if we go deeper.
Aside from your own speculations,
Yeah.
Vera, as you sort of look around, notice off in the corner, and where you see like one of the there's like a little mentioning you sort of passed by of a hero being granted a powerful weapon by something called an ancestor. And you vaguely recognize a sort of weapon from when you first fought the Nor. However, looking at the actual imagery, it appears to have been given by some sort of horned devil. Benora, as you make your way there, as Benora makes her way there, she sort of looks and narrows her eyes. How could he get it? What? That's a horned devil. What? Have you never seen these before? I mean, granted, they're very, very powerful, but what's the problem?
Well, look at what he told you.
That's she is like, in almost well, not instant recognition. Is she's been away from her people for a while, so it's a sort of dial-up before she puts two together. How in the
I'm sorry, the other line I'm trying to read.
No, it's
Yeah.
more like the
How?
giant theme.
More along the lines of, like it's taking your kind of like where you walk into your house after like a week, after 2 weeks of not sleeping there for a while, and it's
Yeah.
recognizable
Yeah.
for a while.
It's
Yeah.
literally the Japanese theme. Just like where I'm like, oh.
Oh yeah, that's where I left my bed.
Yeah.
Yes. She just stares in confusion, and then even deeper confusion as the only thing that escapes her lips is "Potshot tongue toad."
I'm assuming that translates to wait
But
what?
No. I would say, well, yeah, I mean, you don't understand the language, but she then says, that should not be, these people should not have this technology.
What kind of technology are you talking about?
What I haven't. What if it's not just this world's history? What if there's multiple different worlds and the plane? What if this is a recollection of important events from multiple different planes?
That seemed a bit of a jump, and we're like,
And as such, the nine hells does not have a civilization of tieflings.
yeah, yeah. It's
I have a theory if anyone's willing to listen. After you, of course.
I was about to say, like, we'll probably maybe find out more if we explore deeper in. There might be more story, or there might be actual written records, for all we know. Like, theorizing is great, but, like, maybe we'll find out, like, we may be able to give our final thoughts after we finish going through this place.
You're not
And please, he's recording all of this.
Yeah.
You know, this
They that not pop up of please change your memory card. It's not popping up.
Anyways, Master, you're saying?
Now that I'm actually thinking of this, who she goes to Vera. Do you have that holy symbol?
Water chick holds it up. No, Water chick holds it up.
She's big, brawny, guarded.
That might be the reason why we have no idea what this, whose holy symbol this is, because it's not of our plane.
This is another reality. You do realize it's quite absurd, right?
It
Not
sounds
as absurd as it seems.
there's already different planes. Why can't there be other instances of reality itself?
About Cam, this is very man. If
But we're just you with the kindness, she just like there's so many things I wish to explain to you, but at the moment you're far too young to understand or comprehend. I have to go.
I just
know that you would be lost in it.
being like, look at her, and be like, how old are you to think that we're all young?
217.
That's fair. Okay. It's like, man, that's still younger than one of my parents, but still, that's yeah.
You'd be
She's
surprised.
not much. She's 20 years old.
Hmm. You'd be surprised the stuff I can take. She says in air quote.
Mm,
Uh,
maybe for a time.
yeah,
But
but
anyway.
yeah, you, we can hold off to the start for now. Until then, we can
Um,
figure out what's going on.
may I
Sorry, yeah, you
may
go.
I at least say something?
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, one at a time. You're armored.
Um, well, other has anyone heard the planes theory?
I'm
It,
very well aware of this. Above game, and like, I'm gonna just say in game for the sake of fucking brevity.
For those who don't know, the planes theory is that we are on the material plane, correct?
Yeah.
well, not currently, but yes.
Yeah. Well, and and then there's the astral ocean.
You have
See,
you have the four elemental planes: the astral sea, the elemental airspace,
you're in lower plane.
the earthen mountains, and the uh, I believe the lake of fire.
Yeah,
Hmm.
something like that.
The
But
outer planes.
But what if I told you that we are all just in one version of that?
I mean, I'd honestly believe that. World of Mercury Magic, I wouldn't find it hard to believe.
Well, it explains. There's already ideas behind that.
Which is why I
And
bring up the theory.
oh, it explains how high level wizards are able to create their own plane, their own demi plane. Were not the this isn't the only instance of reality.
Yeah. But
So, what if they are from a different version?
well, they
Maybe
might.
they're from a different version of the Nine Hells.
Well, the only way we're gonna find out is if we continue exploring. They're like,
What what if we're in their version of the material plane, except things
Want to ride?
instead for us maybe, but for them, uh, we're in a giant forest. We don't know what this realm holds. We could just be in one little sub location.
Well, as this one, he points his thumb over at the dwarf. Is so impatient. Let's get on.
Hmm.
well, not being impatient. I'm saying like theorizing's great, but
Uh,
we don't. I honestly don't think we have all the information here that needed to figure this out.
There might be
Yes,
more deeper
Yeah,
in this.
that's what I'm implying. Like there could possibly be more.
it's good to establish theories before going in, so we can change it as it goes.
Mm,
That's
eh. I'd
That's
like to
what
theorize.
scientists do.
I like to theorize once I got all the information. Like,
We have the frigid one's not incorrect. Nor like it's nice to have all the information, but at the same time, we need to have a working idea of what we're working on or working with.
mm, yeah, I guess it's true. But regardless,
Let's head for
yeah.
let's head forward and see what other depictions.
and Flutter. What was your vote? What were you gonna say?
So I was trying to decide what uh, like, I'm not gonna stop what they want to do that, right?
I expect nothing less from you. It would not be in your name. I would be concerned that you had changed too much if you had stopped. With that being said, party continues. The depictions start becoming less and less frequent. Eventually, almost stopping altogether. Empire appears that there had been a sort of not theocracy, no, outstanding religion, probably centered around the rainbow serpent. But it eventually stops as you see eventually they had kings, queens, though not exactly same level of technology as the rest of you. It's certainly very, very foreign, and it's not a pleasant aesthetic, but they could certainly. I mean, actually, considering their environments, the lack of clothing makes sense. And as as you keep on going forward, you eventually find yourself at a second gate. This one being noticeably, different, to say the least, as it appears to have a sort of ape-like appearance. You see, like the head at the top, it has some sort of gorilla sort of creature, sort of standing at guard at the very top. Around you see many tiefling, many of these feral-looking tieflings wielding shields and spears and clubs, and some odd weaponry. It looks like a paddle of sorts with blades at the end of it, but like in teeth. Almost like they almost look like teeth. That being said, it's a devastating weapon in their own right. And as you look around a little bit more around it, you notice that at something like underneath the ape, between its legs, you see what looks like a very ominously masked tiefling man. Looks like they are wearing some sort of animal hide over their shoulders. Looks like some sort of axe of sorts, a shield, and it looks to be a very intricate-looking set of bone armor. You see very small indentures where there would be, or that almost appear to be runes, sort of almost wrapping around his body. Very real looking, and sort of what you'd expect of a general of sorts. Excuse me, I need to yawn a bit. And Vera, as you look at it, you recognize the face vaguely. You recognize the face as the man who was given that weapon Benor's people were wielding. But certainly much older. Do you decide to go through further? Alright. As you make your way in, you notice that this section of it is less involving discoveries and general victories. It appears to be more about conquests. You see depictions of sort of a defense, like a victory of depictions of victorious defense against some sort of invader force. Wielding similar clothing and garb, but their weaponry is noticeably different. They appear to be wielding what appears to be some sort of how do I put this? These sort of, you see, how do I put it? I'm trying to think of the proper word. They look like blades, except they're curved forward, kind of like in a bill hook like fashion. And also tearing through the weapons, tearing apart shields and such, biting into them as making the next strikes against their shields far more dangerous as they leave them exposed without any way. Aside from their own wits and their own weapons, no other way to defend themselves, or protect themselves, rather. The conflicts and everything become far more violent. Eventually, it reaches a point where you see this same hero who's given that weapon facing off what looks to be another tiefling man wearing, how do I put this? You know, like turtle shell. You guys know what turtle?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically, it looks very similar to that of the man appeared this large, assumedly man. It's kind of hard to tell with all the animal-based armor and all that. But it appears to be. He appears to be this. The previous hero appears to be fighting against this man who appears to be wearing, or man or woman, in this turtle-like breastplate, like actually made of turtle breastplate. Wielding what looks like it's like great spear and a sort of offhand, downward facing, not downward facing, like also appears to be reverse gripping a talon-like knife. The fight, as is depicted, is, judging by the engravings and the writings, great and terrible. However, the hero does come out victorious in the end, as you see in mid-screen at the end of the depiction, wielding on one hand his battle axe of sorts, and the other hand the head of this enemy ruler.
So, from the story so far, it seems like from when the man in bone armor first appeared, it started turning into conquest, and then the person who was protected before stopped him, or stopped stopped the death and destruction. So, what is there more? All right, as we proceed forward, is there more to this?
Bador does chime in and basically says that things are generally more complicated than they usually get than what they're written as. They might have been the aggressors and may not even be aware of it.
Yeah.
That being said, it's not an unfamiliar story. My people have had such stories, and I'm sure yours have as well. Killing tyrants and such. I wonder what became of the tyrants' children, Bador says as she continues down a bit. Hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
Mm-hmm.
And she's continuing down. I didn't know if any of you want to continue down or if you want to discuss this further.
I kind of want to continue down because it feels like I kind of need more information before I continue.
As you make your way down even further, you notice that the torches appear to be becoming more and more sparse. It appears to be the more depictions continue on, depicting basically the cleanup fights, small skirmishes here and there of the remnant enemy forces. Doesn't look like they were ever able to get back up, and eventually you find yourself standing before another archway. this one far more disturbing than the last. As each of you immediately notice a very familiar, very familiar octopus-like head with these very outstretched blackened, oh no, from what you remember, blackened robes.
Cthulhu.
As anyone, anyone who has faced them before would recognize this creature as a mind flayer.
Oh, okay. I was close.
Not committed by it.
I don't think any of us have faced a mind flayer.
Fair. The Benor does say that's a illithid. Through gritted teeth, of course. Before she draws her weapon and runs her finger across the blunt end of the sword, casting a light on it. As you see further down the hallway through this gate, far less torches. And it's certainly far darker than the others.
Is there still more illustrations in the story as it gets darker? As there seems to be sparse torches?
Might be.
We're proceeding forward. We're not
Yeah.
stopping yet.
Yeah.
Benor, yes?
Oh, it specifically says non-magical. Never mind then.
You were gonna
Does
get
anyone
some-
want to cast light on their own equipment or what have you? So that way
I
they
mean,
can
I
see.
have dark vision, unless it's like freaking.
No, I picked this spell. I picked this spell up from Lucid.
I'll try to separate flame on my, I'm not flame, I've, one strike flame on my, fire.
Alright. I'll say
Would amplified light work on the light cantrip, or does it have? Does
it has to be
out?
non-magical.
Okay.
The light cantrip is itself a magical form of light, so...
Yeah, I picked it up from Lucid, as one of my magic initiate feats or spells.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, I have a typical rock. Like, no, it's not rock. I finished my path.
Alright, you produced.
Yeah, if I need light, I can just cast Holy Off because it also works as light. But I don't need it because I got dark vision, so.
And if you
cast
go
it.
down, the depictions become even darker than that depiction of war. As you see at least from your experience, Vera, a very not familiar that you've seen this exact sort of ship before, but very familiar sight of a comet striking down from the heavens, landing somewhere in the jungle. You see, it looks like the same. You see, like some soldiers making their way there, and as they face these, well, as Benor explains, mind flayer scouts. Only one of the soldiers is barely able to escape back to their now thriving civilization, telling the story.
Calamari.
Telling the story of what the pits they faced. You see, as the current the hero from the who defeated the enemy leader, now an old man, appears to be calling before appears to be a council of his followers, his children, who've either work as leaders and pillars of the community or soldiers, and ordering them to gather their forces to quickly eliminate this coming threat. However, as the story goes on, no one survives. Eventually, the hero himself is taken hostage by this creature, and you see as you find the final engraving, a skeletal form lying against the wall, wearing nothing but tattered rags, and hanging off, and in both hands a hammer and chisel. Familiar horns protruding from his skull as he's just laying there in rest.
Before
Next to his
any
piece.
before anyone even dares touching that object, I am read object. I am going to cast read object on the chisel.
All right. It is a chisel.
Yeah.
The last image of the creature that handled this item, you see a very battle-scarred, very wounded tiefling man. Certainly, probably very handsome for certain. Would be even more handsome without the scars, but he's usually missing a bit of his lower lip and all that. His last impression or emotional state as he used it was sort of acceptance and dread. This weapon has been used to kill something. It was used to kill a mind flayer.
The chisel ones?
The chisel.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
And the image of the owner, you do see a bit more clearly. As you see, he's no shirts, no pants, just a sort of loincloth, animal hides, sort of strapped onto like around his forearms, and like very thin or no, very thick animal pelt over his back. Almost resembles that of a leopard. And on his head you see like a very beautiful looking crown. Not like the crown that the king had worn, but sort of like
a prized helm.
Yeah, prized helm sorts.
Yeah.
But you also notice, I'll say make a medicine check.
Ooh.
If you
I am
have
guided.
okay, if you have proficiency, I can give you advantage, or you could have me roll because I have a plus 11.
I would say that with what she's reading through the read object, she would not be able to receive it.
Ah, okay.
Am I able to cast guidance?
Yes. I'll be nice and say you can. 29. As you look at some of the scars around his body, you notice a very heavily used whip in one hand. Sort of hanging off of one hip, you see the hammer. But you see, a lot of the wounds on his back appear to be self-inflicted.
Man who's trying to repent for his sins.
But this is like probably before this whole war with these mind flayers happened.
So he's got whip scars from his own whip?
Appears to be, judging by the crude design, with very unique ends. Kind of look like teeth. Yeah. That's his own thing.
I'll re-ritual cast it on the read object on the whip.
There's no whip there. Is the other thing. All you see is the hammer and the aside from his body and what's left of his clothing is the hammer and chisel.
Is there any historical significance?
For you? Yeah, there's a lot of blood cults that use, whips, self-inflicted whip wounds to cast spells.
I was talking about the hammer and chisel.
Hammer and chisel? Your guess is as good as mine. I would say
it's specific.
Like maybe
in the read object, it specifically says any if it's historically significant.
Oh, then in that case, yeah. This is the first chisel. The storyteller's chisel.
I will cast identify. I will ritual cast identify.
While the item itself is not magical by any means, this item appears to be several thousand years old. Probably guesstimate, probably handed down from ancestor to ancestor or from teacher to student to continue this entire story of these people.
I will take it. I will. Upon understanding the significance of this, she will say to the guy, "I will continue your story." As she takes the hammer and chisel.
All right. Does anyone else stop her?
I would advise that before taking it, let me at very least put, if the spirit is still lingering, to put the spirit at rest before doing so. AKA ritual.
That would be for the best.
Yeah, ritual cast, Critter, repose. I got the materials for it. I can ritual cast because I think Claire can, ritual. Yeah, Claire can ritual cast, so I can at least do that.
Alright. You do so, and you feel, as you finish ritual casting Gentle Repose, it feels like it was somewhat at peace, but as you finish it, you hear a word in a language you're not familiar with. But it's, you don't need to know Infernal to know that he's thinking.
Yeah.
As the spirit passes on.
Cool. So I'll find the spirit pass on, even is thankful for it. Alright, so you're good, I think. I hope.
So, is there anything else you'd like to do? Do you want to look through some of these stories in more detail?
Would that be investigation, insight, what to do so? Is the question.
Back.
Investigation.
Fluttery? Sorry, Flutter? Alright. Alright then. Let's see.
Okay. I'm gonna just see if there's any door. Because there might be a chance that, there might be something just hidden. There might be,
I mean, it isn't dead yet. I would say you would also notice that if there is a dead end as the story, everything ends.
Yeah, it's a dead end. The story has ended, but I'm kind of curious if anything was maybe stashed away in a hidden door or something.
Yeah. Understood. Then that would be an investigation check for me.
Oh boy, 5+1.
Okay, that's phone died. Oh, okay. So.
Yeah, they're not getting higher than that. Don't find shit. Oh well.
Sorry about that. I was buying something for the wife.
Understandable.
You know the kobolds from Joe. Oh, what's his name?
Joe Cat.
Okay, yeah.
Oh god, I know those. No, not too much of a person, but I love his work.
Hello?
Okay, he already has the normal goblin plush. I might have sprung for the glow-in-the-dark.
So, Flutter, Vera Benor will join you. With your passive insight, you discern that she appears to be bit. She's acting a bit odd.
Oh,
Lorelei, do you want to use your Alex, do you want to use your once per session reroll or no?
I only have a +1 modifier to my investigation. I ain't gonna reroll it just so I could get lower, or just so I don't end up
What are
finding
you-
anything.
What are you investigating?
I'm trying to see if there was like any sort of like hidden door, like something was stashed away, or like a secret passage.
Crystal
Because
Skull.
we're right now at a dead end of the story. I'm trying to think if he might have hidden away something also as he was finishing up the story.
Or not a la Crystal Skull, or more a la the Ark of the Covenant, aka the movie that would have happened whether or not Indy was involved or not.
Yeah.
They're all ended the same, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna roll. There's no way I can roll high enough to spot something because I was like, I figured I'd give it a try, but with the +1, I'm not gonna get anywhere.
I'll roll investigation. Does anything happen once I take the storyteller's chisel?
Personally, that depends on, aside from carrying it and all that, nothing out of the ordinary, unless Hajime herself feels different about it.
Oh, not really.
Alright. And what's that? What are you doing? Armor?
Alright, if you're speaking, you might have muted yourself again.
I'm just taking this. He's probably busy, it's fine.
Yeah, if you're busy, we'll
So,
I muted myself.
okay.
I'm in the restroom. I think I'm allowed to mute myself there.
Okay.
You're
We were not aware. That's all right.
Yeah.
I'll roll investigation and guidance myself to find, see if there's anything hidden.
Alright, go on ahead.
Way better than I did.
29.
Alright, I will get to that shortly. As you're going through, some of these stories, writing down what has happened, the history of these people. Lenora simply asks you why you're recording all this. Well, that much is obvious, but why would you want to record these people who failed to defend themselves against the Mind Flayer threat? Gives you a sort of odd look. Sort of tilt your head to the side a little bit. Shouldn't all be so want to record everything that these people have gone through because you want to remember it. Why do you want to remember these? Have a connection to them. Despite everything I have known of you, you surprise me still. I do not mean that in observation. And here you are recording the story of a failed civilization that could not defend themselves against Illith Mind Flayers. I suppose in a way that this shouldn't surprise me, but it does. But at the end of the day, it's still
They do feel interested themselves, but they succeed that together. So we have next, and it goes over and points to the name of the hero specifically that has these marks.
that's
Do that.
yes. No one from my none of my people are capable of such things. We have sort of looks at the rest of the group and she steps a little bit away so that they don't or leans in a bit. None of our people have ever been able to perform such an act, even without technology.
Hmm.
There's such a primitive society. I doubt they would.
Yet so advanced.
I doubt that they would be able to develop such weaponry. Such. I suppose it does now that you bring it up. Perhaps if my people could learn, they'd have one more. They'd be able to make more progress in eliminating our true enemies. But
The illithid
you're not
or
there.
each other.
You're
Private conversation.
there's a private.
No.
She just asks. She asks. The question remains if they would be willing to let others learn of this, or what they would, or rather, what they would do to others who are capable of such a thing. So if I recall correctly, many of your governments, if someone has a specific sorceress abilities, they keep them as breeding stock, I believe. Though you don't call them that, I believe you call them heroes.
It's
It doesn't bother me too much. We have a similar practice. I believe you're already fully aware of it, aren't you? Since that's how we met.
Although I acknowledge that I have some knowledge that
Yes, and that surprise that you agreed on, or think you want to know. But oh god, it's a very simple incognito hazard. A spherical square. Hmm. Yes. Yes, we use it quite often when in situations where when certain families would attempt to rebel in order to not directly kill them. For what basilisk? Rocco's basilisk. Uh, Rocco's basilisk. I myself am not vaguely. I think I remember that, but I can't remember. I can't exactly put my tongue on exactly what that is again.
probably for the best. It's a real example of information gathering. In that if you know it, then it causes stress. That you can knowing your own belief in it at any time.
Yeah. Oh right. Yeah, no, I remember that. Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. That stuff's metal. She just her people use that for wealthy families that get to think that they're above the principality or the Queen Mother. How do we put this? When you let them know, when a seer's show tells them how they will die, and you are able to perfectly emulate how the events in which they should die, and you make sure that every single living moment resembles even a sliver of it. It tends to humble them. Such is necessary so that way the Queen may rule, so that way those in charge may continue to rule. Though I'm sure you have your own opinions of it. I suppose you'd call it torture. I'm not much of a fan of it either. I'd much prefer just standard torture. Break their fingers, prevent if they're mages, cut off their tongues, throw them out into the streets, let them fend for themselves. It does. That's why I'm not much of a fan of it. Just just physically break the person and just throw them out into the street is my opinion in regards to keeping law and order. I must say, I've never seen this specific group of mind flayers. They don't even have they do not even have blasters. Look, see, she gestures towards one of them. They appear to be entirely reliant on spell casting. Mind flayers abhor such practices.
Are the rest?
I'd say an Arcana check. Since they are a supernatural creature. All right. 27. You sort of mentally go back to your mental archives of any knowledge regarding mind flayers, and yeah, that's true. They, well, I mean, aside from whatever blaster is, I mean, you could probably guess, but yeah, they do greatly they have a great disdain for mages and spell crafting. So much so to the point where, if even a single one of their one of their own kind is like a sorcerer or anything of the sort, or somehow gains knowledge of spellcasting, no matter this, unless it's like with this very specific exception of those who worship some sort of mind flayer god, they throw them out on the spot. If they encounter them again in the Underdark or anywhere, they tend to kill them on sight. They don't rely on psionics or divine magics, but yeah, that is true. Benor continues. The question is, they're probably outcasts, but they were able to create a mother. They're able to create an elder. The question is, where is it now? I mean, such a thing. We have never even encountered a mind flayer in this place. Such things generally tend to stay. There have been plenty of game and hunt here. They should be here. It's not just me, right, Miss Vera? she mentions that if everything here is true, that there should be the odd thing in addition to them being a group of spellcasting mind flayers is that they should be here, or there should be some sign that they were here. But your group hasn't encountered any. So the question remains, where are they? Or rather, what happened to them?
Oh,
No, there were. If I remember correctly, I have to check.
Check
Yeah,
what?
there were mind flayers. I think I need to check the recording.
Check what, Auntie? I'm
Didn't mention mind flayers.
yeah. All right. So we didn't encounter any recently, if that's what you're asking. So
So, yeah, no, there was sharp. Or
not
did
bad. I
you?
do.
Oh wait, no, you didn't.
Hey.
There wasn't any mention.
Kind of expected it, man.
Actually, scratch that. No, there is. There was a mention of mind flayers, druidic mind flayers.
Say what now?
In your presentation a while ago, there was a mention of druidic mind flayers.
yeah, but that was before we entered the cave, right? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Talk about like in the cave. We haven't encountered any in this cave system yet, which makes me think they're either deep before it or they've long since left.
Or their location is reshuffled and they're just sort of Elder Brian.
Yeah, but all this information is only up to Kira because it's private conversation, so
Yeah. Benoit just sounds sort of confused and deep in thought. You bring up anything? Right, there was a mention of druidic ones. We haven't encountered them. Oh, that's
That's my food.
Yeah.
I did state I'm getting food.
Yeah, that's true. There's another patch of land up north of us, if I recall correctly, yes? North of this temple.
I do not remember offhand.
She asks Vera.
Yeah. But we're also not looking at the map too, so
She asks you, isn't there a patch of land up north of this temple? For the most part, it's cut off from most of the rest of the sections. I'll bring it up.
yeah.
Here. Take its sweet time to load.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, there's a good portion of land that we haven't explored yet because it's across our river and slash lake or
Yeah. This entire section.
yeah. Which maybe we would have to go back and go up and around to check up over here to see what's in this section.
I mean, unless you want, if you want to face druidic mind flayers, by all means, but
Yeah, but
if you don't do, that's also fine.
well, let's see if there is druidic ways. I know there was a mention, but I don't know if there's confirmation.
Yeah. Nora asks, do you think you may want to investigate that section? Or rather, do you think we should be safe and stick to the original plan? Fair. Perhaps if once we gather that artifact, we can actually, perhaps later, we can investigate this mind flayer group and purge them once and for all. See, she sort of like you see her like noisily run her thumb, holding onto it in her sword across the crossguard of her blade of her sword, which with your experience with her means that she it's sort of like the saying of she's got a very itchy swinging wrist right now, basically.
She wants to kill something, and that thing is fine.
I mean, hey, it's fair, but yeah. Anywho, so as you're having this conversation, Hajime, you sort of look around and you find yourself stopping at right behind Norlai, as you see like a small indentation in the wall that's kind of sort of noticeably sticking out more.
Indentation,
Like a block of stone of this temple. It's sort of sticking out a bit too much.
I'll see if it's like kind of see if it's like a button or something.
You push it, make an athletics check.
I'm seeing how I'm saying it right there. If it's something really bad, I can grab you. Or try to.
Athletics or acrobatics?
Athletics.
Can I guidance myself?
I will say for this, I'll say sure.
Natural fucking 20.
And a +4.
Yeah.
So you punch it, and as you sort of push it, you hear, oh no, as you hear clicking from behind the wall, and several stone bricks sort of pulled back. How do I put this? You guys know the whole thing in Dagon's Alley?
Yeah. Essentially, like, the bricks kind of, like, unassemble itself, essentially.
Basically, all the bricks individually disassemble and revealing a sort of cave-like passageway.
Okay. It's like, oh, my hunch was right. I was just blind to see the button.
It is also, I mean, it's considering how crude the architecture is, it didn't stick out that much for it to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, as Vera, you hear this as well, and so is Watch Tech, as you're keeping guard, making sure that if anything jumps out, you're the first to respond to kick it back into whatever hole it came from.
Alright, so the solid question, is this the only pathway that leads out of this place, or like besides where we came from, or is this a dead end and we found a secret passage? Got it.
You found a dead end and you found you reached a dead end and you found a secret passage.
Alright, just wanted to be clear. So this is the only place we can explore further. Got it. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, upon everyone turning, she has a bright, very happily, I think I found the way forward.
Yeah. Alright, so Norlai will pop her head and see how far it goes down and just try to proceed forward a little bit while patiently try to wait for everyone. Essentially step in and see what she can see around.
Lenore says that says to you, Vera, that she'd like to talk a bit more about this later. For now, she's going to join the front with you to make sure that nobody dies. But she still stops at Watch Tech and asks you if there's something seems off about this place.
Is he who's they
What?
asking specifically?
Watch tech.
Okay.
Are they armored?
Yep.
Right, she asks she asks watch tech if something seems off about this place.
Eh. I'm gonna running investigation protocols.
Alright. Roll investigation.
Yeet.
Alright. 9.
9.
You
Plus
kinda
guidance.
you understand what she's getting at. This is. It's not that it's too easy, it's just that, you found a core. It's. I put this. It feels like you're walking into a sort of. It's like you're walking into a museum, and then suddenly you find some sort of hidden entrance. It doesn't seem to add up why they would have a hidden entrance to begin with. Or an abandoned museum, and then you just discovered a hidden entrance.
It's weird. Make sure to keep your weapons up.
I find to, but now Hajime, she mentioned one of them had many self-inflicted whip marks on their back. That scribe of sorts, the historian. I have theories, but I'm not sure if they're correct. Not all people are able to develop the same kinds of magic. They appear to just they probably use they appear to, or at least at the same rates. I might be wrong, so I'll just keep quiet about it for now. But, as she keeps quiet, she shuts herself up as the party continues forward. The walls are not coated in don't appear to have any sort of writing. There's no scrawling, there's no names, there's no stories to be told. It appears to be just some sort of hole in the wall that just continues going on and on and on. There's no torches, you just end up relying on either your dark vision or the light sources provided by Vera and Benor, or any of you that have any sort of light source.
So, how long does this go on for as we're beginning to travel forward?
Judging by, it feels like about like half an hour before you eventually stop someplace. Norlai.
Yeah.
You find yourself standing before, sort of stubbing your toe on something, as you find a set of stairs.
Oh.
Very
Up or
cool.
down?
And as you look around, wait, were you traveling with someone else?
Just turns. It's like, hey, huh.
You sort of like, you walking with someone else? You like make a wisdom save.
Oh, wisdom saving throw. 1 moment. And this is why I didn't use my 1% reroll, because if I fail this, I at least can reroll. Okay, that's 28.
You sort of like shake your head a bit, pinching the brow of your nose. Like, no, yeah, you were traveling with people. It was Flint, Norlai, Hajime, Watchtech.
I mentioned my own name.
Hajime, Watchtech, Vera, and Benor.
Yeah. So I'll steal
So
my
we're
mind
all-
and realize something that like made me forget. It's like, okay, that's not good.
Yeah. As you find yourself sort of questioning around you, you just I mean, there's two paths. You could go back, or you could go forward.
Alright, clearly... Alright, I'll try to yell out to be like, guys, where are you? Like, if I got, like, separated completely, it'd be like, if, like, loud enough for it echo, you know? Because...
Right. As you yell out to your friends, all you get is an echo.
it's enough.
No response back.
Alright, so something led me off this path, and now I'm curious of what could have done this.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, I'll so I can either head back or head forward. I kind of want to meet this, like, kind of curious of why something tried to split me from the group.
All right.
I'll proceed forward, just being careful and cautious. Just being like, alright. It's like, alright.
Like cautious, yeah.
Like, proceed forward, keep my guard up, and just be like, alright. Like, let's see what this thing wants.
All right. As you make your way forward, the footsteps just echo. Click, 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 click. The sound of your armor clattering against your each individual piece is the only thing that you hear, and it's practically deafening. Click, 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 click. The air still stale, but it doesn't feel comfortable by any means. As you make your way up, you find yourself standing before what looks to be a stone slab.
Go up to the slab.
You climb up the stairs a bit before you see three objects. The first appears to be a very intricate, albeit somewhat crudely made, whip. Has a very noticeable serpent-like motif around the head of it and around the crossguard. The second, let me just pull up this thing if you'll just stop being so slow and strong words I have for this thing. Strong words. The second object you see appears to be a set of armor made of, at first you think of bone, judging by how dull it is, but as you sort of take a closer look, how do I put this? It appears to be far more akin to that of not stone, but very raw ore. It appears to be a full set of plate armor. The weight radiating, and you can even feel the power emanating off of it, practically threatening the magic sort of flowing in your weaponry and equipment. And the last, let's see here. For you. You okay?
Yeah, I'm like about to pass out right now. I've been like running around.
I understand. I hope it gets easier.
And I now actually have to call a fucking plumber. Because now my tub is not draining and it smells like vinegar.
Whoa, that's a good sign.
But hey, okay, I should have videotaped it because it did do a volcano.
Oh.
Hey, that's something. And the last thing you see appears to be some sort of bleached white bone hanging of bone cage, hanging from what looks like some sort of very crude iron chain. The air around it gets cold. I will PM you the names and make sure it doesn't pop in the recording, of course.
Yeah.
I'll show you the stats that they would have.
Reminds me of that haunted house I did where there was a cannibal making crafts out of bones. Kids loved it. They got candy.
Yeah.
Did I die?
No, I heard you. I'm just reading. So the first one's the weapon, right? Yeah.
The first one's not the weapon, that is the item.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you can make about first and then. Alright.
This is the weapon.
Alright.
This is the last one. I think you might find particularly useful. It's a little way. Of course, ignore the backstory stuff, but yeah. No. This is just that she's experiencing.
Alright. So. Alright, I'm looking at the weapon. It looks like it's. Like the.
Don't say the name, just say what type it is. Like a whip or what have you.
Yeah, but. Like. From what I can tell, it's evil in nature, and I'm not into that with a 5-foot long pole.
Good.
The other one is kind of useful, but not really. It is to its end.
It does gain more power afterwards, but yeah, I understand.
As for the plate, not really. Friggin' has some cool, like it has some unique abilities, but nothing I'd find useful.
Well, if you want, there's a fourth option that we could just outright say. I can work with you to make a personalized one that would certainly better suit your character's skill set and tastes.
Yeah, none of this would I would see Norlai grabbing because it's like, like with the essentially a little bit like life insurance policy of the wondrous item, as I would like to call it. It's nice, but it's
Understand.
It's like it would make it so Norlai lasts longer for certain, but it's like with Norlai's personality, it's like if shit happens and goes sideways, all she's gonna do is just pull out that drink and be like, "Oh, it's my time."
So as Norlai declines all three, you feel familiar, not unpleasant, but very, certainly brisk and sudden cold breeze whisk you away. As you hear, as it's immediately stopped, as you find yourself accidentally bumping into Benor.
It's like, oh, it's like side bumps. Like, oh, okay, that was weird.
Watch your step, please. No one wants you to end up falling and breaking your nose on the ground. God knows this place hasn't been kept well.
Yeah. Certainly gotta be careful in a place like this, because Norlai will explain kind of what she experienced and saw. Like, as if, like, and explain it as if, like, something was somehow got into her mind and messed with her. Like,
Yeah. This place is guarded against outsiders. Either there's an enemy mage here attempting to latch control of your mind, or the stale air is getting to you. I hope it's the former rather than the latter.
Same.
Actually,
Same.
no, because then it'd be a lot more fun. Just walking down here's making my wrist itch.
Or I would just literally pull out a beer. Just be like, I need a drink after that.
Same. Oh, maybe wait. Wrong business. I also have a bit of a vision as well. Oddly enough. Why? It's actually a bit similar to yours. I wonder. No. No. Oh well. Either way. Continue forward. As you continue forward, you eventually find yourself standing before what looks like a stone block holding onto it. Looks like very familiar, appears to be the same object you're looking for. You see a somewhat like a piece of a like a cylinder.
Yeah.
With,
An ornate looking key.
that's a
Well,
key and
Well,
it's like,
I call it a key. I put heavy quotes on it because I know it doesn't literally look like a key, but yeah, it's a key in
it's more
some
like
way.
a cylinder and like a part of a cylinder. Well, you know like puzzle pieces where like little kids have to like where the shape is sort of broken apart into little pieces, and you
Yeah.
have to apply them back into their position so that way it makes the whole shape. Basically that.
Okay. Yeah.
Obsidian or like black steel looking object.
Yeah. I'd be like, it's like, looking at it, be like, yeah, that definitely looks like what we're looking for.
But no, we'll keep watch in case anything rushes the group from behind.
I'm gonna make a look around the room and I will ask the rest to help because I'm not great with investigations to see if this is trapped or see if there's anything about it that might like spring something of the sorts.
Anyone else wish to participate in this?
In what?
Just seeing if
Looking around.
picking up the artifact we're looking for, essentially the key, I put key in quotes, is trapped in any sort of way, like it would spring something as soon as we try to grab it.
I'll search.
The more I just came back and now there it is. So, yeah.
So, one of them is the quote-unquote key, and what's the other object?
There's no key. It's literally just a key on like a stone block.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that as soon as we grab it, it's gonna spring something, one way or another.
I'll ritual cast detect magic first.
While you're doing that, is there anything else anyone would like to do?
Like, I'm waiting to grab the key to see it, like before investigating. I'm let everyone investigate first before I try to grab it, because, you know.
It might be trapped. Yeah, I understand.
It probably is. Let's be honest.
Yeah. If you got, yeah.
Mm. So,
Well,
is there anything else anyone would like to do? Look around for any triggers or what have you for the trap? Any possible trap? Or
Actually, this is a valid question. Do you guys think I should pop this this spell before I actually actually cast it?
I'll use my,
your what ability? Alright. You ping it off. no outsiders around. There's no one dead. Seems clean. Alright, so Alex, does Norlai wish to cast True Seeing? If so, on who?
I'm thinking. Alright, it'd probably be more useful on those who have really good perception or investigation. Probably.
I have a 13 to invest.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give you true seeing. I'll spend that spell slot because I might as well. Seeing as like if there's anything that's extra hidden in this room or like a possible hidden trap, that'd be a good way to spot it.
Okay, and combined with my detect magic.
Alright, so you're going to. Alright, so you expend the material components of an ointment for the eyes made of mushroom powders, saffron, and fat. As you sort of place it over her eyes and sort of rub it around to a circle. Norlai and Hajime, both of you here in the back of your head. Oh, the weather outside is frightful. As sort of a green, as your eyes suddenly begin to glow green. And let's see here. You do detect something as your eyes slowly look up above the object. Let me just pull up what you see. As you see, sort of. Let's see here.
I'm so glad I classed that now.
Yes. Let's see if this thing will finally start making itself known. Ah, there you are. Now you're going to work. As you see hovering above, latching onto the ceiling above, legs spread, arms wide, a large humanoid thing with chains wrapped around its torso and like a sort of chain-like kilt with glowing red eyes. So it's ethereal looking. Has these like twisted and very long horns that sort of split off the side of its head, and it looks like a pit of flame where the top of its head is. And with like these humongous, just absolutely large tusks protruding from its jaw. And it's just staring right down at your group.
Does he realize I can see him yet?
It looks like he does, but he doesn't give a shit.
Giving you the I dare you to touch it. I double dare you.
I'm weak up the wood.
She physically recoils.
I would if this thing is going to actually, this thing would give me the full image and not just some sort of, not just a token.
Alright, so.
It really would be something more because the art is really fucking good.
Yeah, I just imagine, just like you were close, like, what do you see? Begins describing it as Andy loads it up. Because depending on what it is, I might either do a holy weapon or dispel good and evil.
Keep in mind, it's like semi-ethereal and no one else can see it, even with the light.
Like I said, I'll actually say it in character, Nord. I look at Hajime and just be like, what? What do you see?
Well, I'm just going to PM with you specifically, because you're the only one who can see this.
True.
So only you would know what the fuck this thing looks like.
Yeah. If I had another 6th level spell slot, I would cast True Seeing again, just so I could be like, what? What do you see? Oh, fuck!
The structure his back is some sort of long walking stick or something.
She starts describing this fiery demon-looking thing. Matt, like, it's absolutely Matt. He's Jack. Horn, like, massive horns, wings. It looks like the depiction of a true like a
demon
huge
job.
Yeah, he's got like a scythe and everything. It's this demon
Stick. Like a walking stick.
that that's a scythe.
Is it? Oh. Oh yeah, I guess it looks like a scythe.
Yeah. Alright, so with how do I describe this, I'm gonna see if can I roll a religion to determine what this creature could possibly be.
I'll say what? To determine whether it's a devil, demon, or a Yugoloth, or like just a normal, or just a an unaligned fiend. Yeah, sure, religion.
Yeah, because if I know enough of this creature, it might change my opinion of what I'm gonna cast as soon as I know enough.
Normally. So, 22 out of 17. Sounds like a Yeah, sounds like a demon actually.
Oh, I gotta go. Have a good one, guys.
Alright, take care.
Will do. Stay safe, everyone. And don't let Tansy boss you around. He may look scary, but he ain't.
Alright.
It's an act, I swear.
No, I'm more than demon. Consider being scared.
I love you, Auntie.
Alright, so the solid question I should ask for you guys, should I do activate the spell Good and Evil and get ready to fight this thing as soon as I go to touch the king? Like, as we prep to go to fight it, or should I just cast Holy Weapon? Because I can only keep up one or the other one.
I'm the only one that can see it. Why not I try talking to it? You can do your preparation things, getting ready for battle, but he might not be outwardly hostile.
Yeah, we can only hope.
Also, with your actually, did you make the investigation check as well, or let's see? No, you didn't. You didn't. That was what you saw immediately with it, because there's no hiding that with True Seeing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, with detect magic, true seeing, and I'm gonna guidance myself.
See if there's anything else besides just
The unholy trinity. Yes, 30. Look around. You notice Siri is like a slight raised block holding this thing, or lowered block holding this thing on this stone thing. So like declined rather. With your 30, you see like little writings on the runes there.
What is it? What do the runes say?
You can't really see the full thing. It's like really well hidden there.
So this thing is on a stone block that has runes on it.
It's like a stone declined inside this large block of stone.
Oh, there's a rune block inside
Rather,
the
how do I put this? It's like one of those weighted triggers. You can probably guess.
Oh, okay. So like the stone is holding the chain in place, and as soon as we lift up the cylinder, it'll like trigger the stone to unlock the chain and cause it to drop. Essentially.
Not sure. Or yeah, the root. Whatever this thing is keeping the key is keeping the weight thing in check, and if it were raised, it would activate whatever effect that the object would have, that the trap would have.
So it is trapped.
Yep.
Can I roll something to untrap it?
What would you like to do?
So it's a counterbalance, kind of
Weighted.
fulcrum.
It's a weighted one, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a weighted trap. What? As soon as you take it out, take the key, both this thing and the trap are going to activate.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get an understanding of what's going to happen once the trap is activated.
Probably release that thing.
Is this being trapped?
Make an insight check.
I fucking love guidance so much.
17. Let's get here. What the fuck? Why is it? Oh, whatever. Let's see. I'll re-roll that then. Of course, you can tell now. It's just vibing. It's just hanging onto the ceiling, just staring at you, staring at all of you intently. Kind of like when you know, it's like kind of like when you notice a bunch of ants, in your on the sidewalk, and you're kind of thinking like, should I walk over them, or should I just not care and walk right through them as if they're not even there?
Alright. I will take a step forward and directly talk to the being. Are you able to speak at all?
It looks at you. Make an insight check.
That's sad.
You already used your possession, I believe.
No, I didn't.
No one has used their blood for session yet, as far as I know.
I think I will re-roll that. This feels pretty important.
Alrighty then.
Much better.
Yeah.
Are you speaking in common? Or what language are you speaking?
I'll speak in common and then go to like infernal, then abyssal, then just kind of cycling through the languages he would know.
You see recognition when you speak in common, any form of common, all forms of common, and abyssal, but not fiendish or anything else after that.
Okay, so he understands me in common and abyssal.
All forms of common and abyssal.
Yeah. I'll cater between the two. Would you prefer common or abyssal? Are you trapped? Are you alright?
It doesn't respond. With your insight check, you get a feeling that he really wants to say something. But something or someone is keeping his mouth shut.
Can I see what keeping his mouth shut?
All you see is that he's there, apparently invisible, or maybe not invisible. Maybe it's invisible. Maybe it's he's in the ethereal plane temporarily, or you're not sure.
Right. Okay. Uh, if you can understand me, blink once. We're going this old school.
It blinks twice. And make another insight check with advantage now. You see a full smile creep up on its face. Somewhat of a smile creep up on his face as he appears to intentionally blink twice.
Oh, I get it.
It's fucking with you.
It's the opposite. It's so he's cursed or trapped. He cannot physically talk or be seen.
Posting image of what rest of what he's judging by his description, what you see.
Yeah.
They're in the Thursday chat.
That
Uh,
yeah, that looks like the most motherfucking demon ever. Like seriously,
Right?
fun cover of a metal album band.
So from what I understand, it's he cannot physically talk. He cannot be seen, and he has to do kind of the opposite, where blink once for yes. In his curse state, it's blink once for no, and blink twice for yes.
His arm, he knows what you're doing, and you see like childish when he's
It just might be fucking with you too.
yeah. He's a demon. He probably enjoys fucking with people.
I mean, I might as well just ask: are you screwing with me? Are you or do you have malicious intent against us?
The smile just how do I put this? You know Jack Nicholson's smile, Joker? How that just keeps on going to an unnatural degree.
Yeah.
That where his smile just doesn't stop. It just keeps on going until it like hits his the end of his jawbone. You just see these like rows and rows of like just monstrous teeth. Like yeah, now you're getting it.
What? Okay. I see a trap here. If I activate this, will this release you? I understand there's a trap, there's a mechanism here. If I activate this, will this release or affect you in any way?
Still maintaining that smile. He shakes his head.
Yes, shakes his head yes or no.
He shakes his head side to side, but again, insight check.
Okay.
Normally this time. Okay.
Normally.
It's still the result's still 20 or 23.
23.
As you sort of look at it, he's lying to you. He's shaking his head no, but it's either a maybe or a yes.
I'm going to she'll say to the rest of the party, I'm going to hazard something. I want every one of you to prepare yourself for a fight. Prepare any spells, do anything you need to. Uh, I'm going to activate this mechanism I found. And I'll give time for people to activate any spells or anything.
Benor grasps at her a stone at the crossguard of her sword. As her eyes begin to go, she just stares. What the hell? What in the void is that?
It's
I
some
want to kill it. Oh no.
it's some demon. I don't think we can interact with it quite yet. It wants to mess with us, but it can't. And I think that goes both ways.
And, okay then. She see it as like even through the helmet, through her breathing, you can tell that she's really getting into this. Well, either way, I think this thing is trapped in the ethereal realm. Makes sense.
I think as
They have to be very powerful, either very stupid or very powerful mages to trap into something this. I really want to fight this thing. I can't help it.
Well,
as
I feel like that as soon as we try to pull this here cylinder, it's gonna try to fight us anyway.
well, I think it's guarding the key. She kind of fingers over the mechanism.
Yeah.
It's a weighted balance that is kind of holding the key in place. Uh, I'm thinking about either breaking the chain or attempting to pass through the mechanism somehow. But that's going to affect the demon. I know he's fucking with it. He's messing with me. It's going to affect him. And by that alone, go on.
It's not well, we know this thing's not an outsider, right? It's not any sort of thing.
Then again, with Venor did say it might be sort of imprisoned in the ethereal realm, so it would not ping off if you were.
Yeah.
As soon I we're playing a game. You see, I ask him a question. He lies to me. I'm able to tell he's lying to me.
I will also say he is size huge.
Yeah.
Dank.
Alright, so our options as it stands is if you can see if you can bypass the mechanism and keep him trapped and we can pull the key, or we pull the key and just fight him right here now.
Well, I'm going to go.
I can't hear.
Hold circle.
I don't think that's a spell.
I think it's just tele.
What spell are you talking about? Because I can't hear Fluttershy.
Teleport circle.
Oh.
Teleportation circle.
Yeah, that would take some time to set up.
I don't even have that spell slot yet.
Yeah, I took.
That's your excuse.
Yeah, I mean, if we really wanted to fucking do him a fucking bucket, and even though he's not gonna drop down anytime soon, I can spend 24 hours casting the Hollow spell.
Well, he's not. He's kind of floating above the key.
It's more less he's floating and more like he's big enough so that way he's able to outstretch his arms and just like latch onto the walls.
Yeah, but the point is, if we really wanted to screw it over him, know that he's not gonna come out unless we pull that key or trigger the mechanism to free him by accident or on purpose. We could take the time and I could literally get the Hollow spell up and we'd have the home field advantage.
What does that spell do?
Bop. Read at your own pleasure.
Because it's long. It's long.
Do you have the components for that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I spent some of my gold to start with to frickin' make sure I could at least cast hello at least once. For this reason of like, in case we're fighting a big ass demon, we have the actual downtime to prepare.
And it's a giant spell. Doggone.
So yeah,
Do
we
we
know he's
wanna-
not gonna drop down anytime soon, and we got the time.
I mean, what do you have to lose?
You could. I mean, you also got to convince Benor that this is worth doing.
Well, it'd give us the home field advantage, essentially. It would ensure victory.
I would say one of you can roll persuasion. Veer would have advantage. Okay. How are
What's
you?
your
I don't have a persuasion modifier, so except for a +1.
I'm an expert in persuasion. I have a 14. Oh wow, you got just one above me.
So go ahead, roll for the
Go
advantage.
ahead. 33.
33. What do you say specifically? But it wants to fight, and I want to fight it. Look, we're consenting adults, we can handle this.
Would you? Yes, but when we're fighting against something as powerful, wouldn't you want a guaranteed victory?
No. A good fight is one where it's never guaranteed. When you're running on the edge of the blade and you're barely able to tell if you're alive or the other one in front of you is dead. You see, as Vera, you'd see, like, there's this battle lust behind her eyes that, that exists. What is Vera's final command for her? Or what does she finish it? Or should I tell her to calm down with?
He's trapped in the he can't speak, he can't move, he's trapped in there.
And he's trapped in the realm. This is what you know.
He's trapped.
Anything that is currently existing in the ethereal realm cannot interact with anything in the material realm.
Just based on the laws of the ethereal plane, he cannot interact with us, we cannot interact with him. But we can prepare an area for when we potentially release him.
Oh, I was just reading the first part over again. If I was to do this in this room, as soon as he would try to drop down, he essentially would hit an invisible wall and wouldn't be able to come after us. Because it states, cannot enter the area.
Unless you will it.
Yeah. Well, does it state that if I will it, I can let creatures enter? Because... Yeah, you can. Oh, yeah, you can exclude one or more of these types of creatures from this effect.
Yeah,
But
you can. You can exclude the creature from the wall of force.
yeah,
All right, so it'll take 24 hours, but I think it's worth it.
yeah. I should ask, if I was to make it so it would enter, would it be able to not frighten anyone, charm anyone, or possess anyone? If I was to exclude it from not being...
Well, then you also wouldn't be able to enter.
Yeah,
that's the catcher. I think if I exclude it, it makes it so it doesn't.
Then you guys, I'll just roll. You have advantage on the saving throw against charmed, frightened, or possession.
Yeah, instead of outright protection. Which means if we let it in, we won't get the extra stocks. So
Yeah. It's been during during the 24 hours, I'll re-up my healing stones because they're only good for a week.
All right, and we'll say you guys individually take your long rest, and with that, we're going to end the session there.
cool. This will
Feel free to stop the recording.
yeah. All right, I'll stop the recording.